My name is Kaisha.
My name is Alan.
Nice, Patrick.
Joe, Afro-Aboriginal.
Intrinsic Roots started off as a show that we were doing for Art Basel. So it's a collection of people from different backgrounds with different talents, different arts, poetry, music, art. We got together to do this show for Art Basel. And we named the show Intrinsic Roots. And during that show, we rented a U-Haul and we were mobile. So we had a mobile gallery exposing all of our art, and we were drumming at different locations throughout the whole weekend. And it started just getting bigger and bigger, and we started drumming at different locations, and people were starting to notice us. And you know, the rhythms that we drum are pretty infectious, so a lot of people were feeling it, and you know, it's just sort of developed into who we are today. We all met at a drum circle started by one of our good friends, Peter. Every Sunday at Oak Grove Park, we would just sort of drum together, and little by little more people started to come, and we started to focus more and study more and just drum together and be around together, and then we started this group, Intrinsic Roots, and it's what you see today. We actually started a full moon drum circle here in Little Haiti, and it's not going on right now, but it's going to start back up really soon. And I mean, it's just the vibrations. People realize, I guess, people are becoming more woke, I guess, to the vibrations of drumming and how it's good for you. It's positive energy that's coming out to you, like, you know, and it just makes people feel good. So I feel like more people are starting to realize that. I don't know, you guys want to?
So I feel like part of the thing is people are more willing to accept the drums as part of their culture now, being that people are realizing how I think healing the drums can be. For me, the drums speak to the spirit. So as spiritual beings, I think the drum does something for people in the same way that music in general does things for people, that can help to heal, or that can help them grasp a sense of their identity that they didn't know existed, or that they weren't willing to acknowledge up until now. That the culture around drumming and music in general is very open and very inviting. I think our past generation, this wasn't a thing. It wasn't a movement. I think there's a movement of culture and people accepting who they are and being very out about it, like just being very unapologetically who they are, without fearing what people are going to think about them. And so I think the drum is a unifying instrument and a unifying weapon that helps people grasp a sense of their identity through rhythm and sound, which is it doesn't know any language. Everyone can speak it. Music doesn't have a language.
Right. It's actually recognized as the international language of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And the good thing about the drum, I remember, you know, when I was growing up, you know, playing the drum considered like, you know, you're playing evil instrument. You know, that's why it was like really like Seventh Adventist. So now I see drum, you know, in school, you know, in elementary school, you know, people enjoy playing, and even kids. So now it's like, you know, it's a good thing, you know, because like nobody's scared of it no more. It's an instrument. Why should we care of instrument to give you melody, you know? So I used to be scared of it. That's you. That really, when we play the drum, you feel it. That's when you beat it. You feel it inside of you. You know, it's nothing wrong with it. And then, you know, I love what I'm saying. You know, it become like you say, it's a culture. Correct. You see it all over the place. You see it at Barzo, you see it in school, you see it every Saturday, you know, at the marketplace. You know, it's a good vibe. I love it.
It has actually killed the fear that people had, the taboo, so to speak.
You got that right. Yes.
It was taboo for so long, but now it's been embraced.
Yeah, I think people are become more alive and awakened to the way everyone's saying it's like who they are, and distilling between what is said and what is my truth. And I think the drums, like we're saying, is a calling to your truth. And the closer you get to it, you see more of yourself in it, whether it be your heartbeat or your pulse, or you go deeper into your ancestry. But we all like come from different parts of the four corners of the world, or the island, diaspora, and the continent. But the drums is a signifying part of all human existence. And I think as we are beginning to become more enlightened as a people, I think we're starting to hear that beat in the back of in our hearts and trying to find where is it in the material space.
You know, it's a big challenge because, you know, people brainwash.
Correct.
When people brainwash, you have to do, you know, more work so to bring people to accept, you know, what's for them. Before they brainwash, they don't know if this is for them. You know, the rhythm is for them. You know, it's where you came from. We all came from Africa. This is your ancestor instrument. This is our ancestor rhythm. Why should we scare of it? But I understand it's not them. That's because of the brainwash. So of course, we have a big challenge. But so far, you know, so many people conscious about it, and they try to get involved, you know, in the movement, which is, you know, a positive part of the movement, which is so far so good, you know.
And also, I don't think the point is to like try to like chase after like corporate America. I think the drums is like constant. It is what it is, and I think if it's played and if it's played in truth, eventually you can't ignore it. I don't care how long you are around a bunch of drums. At the end of the day, your feet starts tapping and people start moving. So it's not so much like try to put the drums in the people. I think the drums should be, and the people will naturally gravitate, like we're saying, to it. So it's not about trying to do that. It's about just trying to be.
Just
and
play and then
drums,
they'll come.
exactly.
Here we come.
You just find your space and your peace, and then they will call the tribe.
Commune.
Yeah.
The tribe will find its own right.
Which is how we became.
That's how we
That's how we
came
started.
together.
That's really how.
Y'all were connected to the drum.
Right.
I mean, when I first moved down here, like the Haitian culture just embraced me, and from the moment I was invited to a drum circle, I haven't left because, like you were saying, like the drum is the universal language, and part of my journey to finding who I am lies in the drum, and it's in our name too, Intrinsic Roots. Like we're intrinsically drum players. Like the drums speak to the spirit, so it supersedes like the physical form. Like, and it's inviting, and there's nothing that can stop that. Like there's rhythm in everything that we do. Our heart is on a rhythm, you know. And so when you play the drums, you keep in mind that it's part of the natural chemistry of nature. So when you play drums, you're just doing what is natural to us as humans in this world, and the fact that we are naturally rhythmic beings. I mean, part of why we drum is to do just that. Like the goal is to educate, but also to continuously learn. Like I've studied a lot of Afro-Caribbean history. And I've also learned a lot since moving to Miami and experiencing and being able to engage the Haitian culture. Like Alan told me that drums were the first weapon taken during the Haitian Revolution. So why is drums considered a weapon, and how does that play into your everyday conversation with people, trying to get them away from the brainwashing and the constant negativity of kind of denying who they are as a person. So a lot of this is education, and people have to be willing to take it in, and they're much more willing to receive the vibrations from the drums than education. But when you pair the two, that's kind of what we do. We don't only drum, but we drum with the goal of educating people and helping people in their journey to get out of all these stigmas, the negativity that comes with a lot of the things that we do, because I feel like as part of the diaspora and growing up in the Americas, there's a lot of negative stigma that hinders our journey to discovering who we are, because there's power in who we are, and there's power in the drums. And so when they begin to tell you that that things like voodoo or things like drums are inherently evil things, and they push them out through propaganda, the movies, etc., people get lost in it, and they don't question. One of the things that we don't do is we're never willing to question anything that's brought our way, and that's the only way that we can grow. Like we question and we challenge each other all the time. It's part of is part of the growing process.
I was about to say
It's how we learn.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to be wrong. And you have to be willing to recognize that, hey, this is part of who we are, but we've also been denied it. A lot of us have. And so that being said, how do we reconnect with who we are? And how do we make this a journey where we can all collectively grow? And there's a collective end to the drumming that we do.
It's more to get done, because for the culture, you don't see too much for culture, because when you're talking about culture, you have to see the drum, you have to see the singing, the kid. You have to. When you say culture, it's a big thing.
Many components.
Right,
Yeah,
it's a lot.
yeah.
But what they try to do, it's a lot, because when people brainwash, it's deep.
Right.
It's like it's a big hole. To get out of that hole, it's a lot. So even for them, even if they bring group stuff like that, but it's more to get done for the culture, because so far it's like the culture still and the background. You know what I'm saying?
You
So
still get the back door.
right,
It's, still in the background.
it's tough, man. That's why it's a tough one. You cannot judge nobody, because it's tough. It's a tough one, but there's more to get done.
Bob Marley says, free yourself from a mental slavery, because none but yourself can free your mind. And I think that's the first key. Like, we can't look for outer, outer external sources to take care of us and to free ourselves. Like, inner peace and inner awareness is like the first truth and the first discipline for a reason. And my father always taught me about brain stain. He was like, when people are growing up, they teach you like certain things, like a black cat is bad, or black is bad, or different things like that. And that's heavy. Like, when you think psychologically ingrained in people's like growing up developmentally, so that takes time. So like, we also need to stop looking for these silver bullets that it's gonna like wipe, one quick thing is gonna wipe away 400, 300 years. I think we need to do what we can do. Each one of us has our own journey. Each one of us has our own path. And Alan is always telling us, like, we all have our own path. We all have our journey. And I think the closer we are in tune with that, then we are doing the universal law and universal work of bringing this all together. But I think it starts with inner peace and like inner discovery and self. But we keep trying to break walls, and we're broken. I don't know. That's just my belief.
No, yeah.
It's a good question, right?
So I think I'm Boricua, right? So the drums, the drums have united all of us, and I think by intrinsic roots existing, it shows the solution to the question you're asking, right? So a lot of what we're dealing with is divide and conquer, and it's divide and conquer because if we don't know our past, then we'll get caught up in the labels, and we'll get caught up in, oh, you're light-skinned and I'm dark-skinned, and all these man-made constructs that were put in place to divide us. So we're all African, and no one, not even scientists, deny that now, right? And so we're at a point where our society is trying to keep these mental constructs in place to continue to divide us. Oh, I can't mess with you because you're Haitian. I can't mess with you because you're Jamaican. But at the end of the day, sometimes like we're our worst enemies, our own worst enemies, because we put the barriers that the system has put in place to keep us divided, and we just have to keep an open mind. I think part of culture and part of the movement is realizing that my freedom lies in the person that's next to me. And at the end of the day, if you're not where you are, I have to help you. It's a lot of pressure, because I feel like those who know have to help people to realize that it's about all of us. It's collective. But throughout the diaspora, it's a constant disconnecting from the motherland, from our roots. And so it's real easy to divide us because a lot of us don't know yet. And it's systematic, right? It's institutional. The institutions are in place so that they know our history and don't share it with us. The moment that we know our history, that's when Haitian Revolution happens.
Correct.
Right? That's when we begin to deconstruct what has been put into us, and we start to think for ourselves so that we work collectively. Because I think humans are we're innately social, and we innately are wanting to work together, but the systems that are in place just divide.
Keep us away.
We get lost in the matrix without realizing, without even knowing how to get out. And this is part of getting out.
You didn't even know we
Don't
lost.
even know.
Yes.
That's the problem. That's the real design. Is that they've designed it so well that you think you're doing okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And people become complacent,
Correct.
right? And so if I'm getting by and I can support my children,
You forget about the rest.
Then that's it.
You forget about the real movement.
right?
They say, now we good here. That's why you got these gated communities. Or if you get into a gated community, we go, the criminals are across the train tracks.
Yeah.
Oh no, they gotta go west. You gotta go to MLK Boulevard. We don't have that problem over here. That's what was so important about this shooting incident, that it happened in Parkland. Parkland is upper echelon
Affluent.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You understand? Like you chicken coming home to roost attitude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's going on right now, and that's why you see these marches, because there have been shootings going on.
Oh,
That's
for
no-
the-
I work in
Yeah,
Liberty
yeah.
City. It
Yeah,
happens every day.
Yeah,
literally.
Every day, every day, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it hit home. As a nation, it still can't happen.
Yeah, because mentally those people will never be free.
I think so too. I was about to say. I think it
It's
goes
a
back to
mind-
colonialism back then.
Yeah, it's-
All those
that's
islands
right.
were, I'm not saying that we have to still be held down by those, the oppressors, but at the same time, they have such it was what, like Joe was talking about, they have such a mentality that's been ingrained in their society that trying to get together, you may have pockets of people that are all, down to go together and unite, but at the same time, it's just still a lot of constructs, a lot of mental, that's just almost in people's DNA that, you have to do serious work to try to break those chains. But it can be done, I think. It can be done. It's not something that we just have to sit and just accept that and think that, this is how it's going to be. No, I mean, this is one thing that, like I said, brings us together is for that reason, we all realize what's going on. We all realize that's the reason why we cannot unite. So why don't we unite and try to educate people by looking at us? That's sort of what our mission is for this Intrinsic Roots group is like Joe said earlier, it's education, but it's also breaking down stereotypes and showing that, we can come together and do some powerful things. So
And
learning too.
I mean, we're all students. None of us, we weren't born playing the drum. The drum just kind of found all of us.
It found me. I mean, no drums were even allowed in my house growing up.
Yeah, but one more thing, the drum is inside of you.
Yes.
That's true.
You were born with it,
It calls you.
Me personally, what I want to tell the world is like, what we need is love. Because without it, we cannot do anything, because people do so many things. At the end of the day, what you see is hate everywhere you go. It's war, people shooting at each other, It's wrong. We lost what we call love. We lost the brotherhood love, the city love, the husband and wife love, the daddy and kid love. We lost all of that. What I can tell to the world right now, please bring that love again. And then that's why I come, union, is power. Because if you love each other, that means we got power. That's unity, Love to me is unity. That's why we miss.
And I think part of it is a revolutionary love. So it's kind of full circle. So we have to, like he was explaining, we've lost love. So we have to rediscover the love that once existed, that brought people together. Because the reality is that this hasn't always been our reality. And you have to know yourself and know your place in history to understand that. And so I say revolutionary love because the message that's really being pushed right now is a message of hate and of self-hate. Because when you hate yourself, you're so closed off that you're not willing to accept other views, and you're not open-minded to a place where you can actually grow and grow together. And so I think we need love, but just because we love doesn't mean that we're not gonna fight. And I think that that's important because we love, we are willing to fight. And I think that that's important.
Empires fell because of love. Two little people have
Love.
So we have to grow. So we have to grow with love. The same love that was born into the Haitian Revolution and moved a whole nation to question their circumstances and their reality. And that's what we have to do now. We have to love each other so much that I'm willing to help you out and help me out, and let's figure this out together. And let's do that out of love for one another. Because I know and you may not know, but we're gonna grow together so that we both know, and then you begin to get a sense of who you are. And then no one can tell you, because Che Guevara said it, you can kill a man or a woman, but you can't kill their idea. So at the end of the day, it's about changing the mindset of the people and planting the seeds that people need to reaffirm the things that they already know. Because a lot of people, it's like you were saying, it's that question, it's the constant question, like, am I actually doing something important? What is my role in this? And it's always questioning. And then the moment that someone affirms something for you, or that you affirm something in your journey, then no one can question it. You already know.
You get that aha moment.
Right.
Like, oh, let's go.
Let's do it.
You realize
It's the energy. Yes.
I'm ready.
So
We are Intrinsic Roots, and we want you to come see us perform live at AfriKin Fest, May 19th, advancing humanity by any means necessary.
Yes.